Welcome to the Reticle Up podcast, where I, 3-Gun Kenzie, will be interviewing competitive shooters, hunters, fishermen, archers, entrepreneurs, and outdoorsmen. Come learn with me as I interview people from all walks of life, in different disciplines, all across the world, from novices to professionals of all ages. No matter what, everyone has something they can teach you, so come join me on the journey. The Reticle Up podcast is produced in partnership with AmericanFirearms.org. American Firearms' mission is to recommend what works. We believe everyone deserves access to unbiased, helpful information about firearms, and our buying guides, product reviews, and learning resources are designed to help real people find the stuff that will work best for them. Check us out at www.americanfirearms.org. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Reticle Up podcast. I'm really excited about this episode. I've got Nick Kytlica here. He's the shooting sports marketing manager at Leupold. And I just finally got to meet you at SHOT Show for the first time, which I was really excited about. So welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Yeah, it was great getting to meet you at SHOT. It was a whirlwind a couple of days there in Vegas, but it was a good time.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you guys had a ton of new products, which I want to talk about. Your booth was beautiful. Really?
Yeah, we did. I have to say I'm biased, obviously, but we do have one of the best booths. I would say the cool thing is the second story. So being able to get off the show floor and a little bit higher up, and you get to take a breath in between everything. That's nice. Yeah,
it's awesome. Yeah, it was really pretty, and I think I don't know enough about the apparel, but I think everyone looked super clean. You guys have new apparel that I've seen even in my own local shops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Super nice.
Yeah, we've dived really deep into the apparel side. It's not just promotional T-shirts and hats and stuff like that. It's actually kind of
jackets and
yeah, technical apparel. More not morphing into, but elevating the lifestyle brand part of the brand, right? Yeah. And I know my shooters that I have on the team really appreciate it. They're like, "Oh, you have the best, hats and jackets and stuff out of the rest," which is funny because little secret. Well, I've been at Leupold 16 years now, and way back in the day, I wouldn't wear any of our stuff because it was all lame.
We've upped it. Yeah, I went to. So I'm near Smoky Mountain Knife and Guns, but we opened a smaller sister store that's only 20 minutes from my house, and it was really intimate. And it was cool too because I saw a couple of my friends like Daniel Horner and stuff that shoots for SIG, but I saw them up on the walls, and I'm like, it's weird being in this gun store knowing the people on the walls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bet that is weird. Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool you've taken notice of the apparel stuff. I've like that a lot, and the eyewear too. That's been a big hit for us as well. So
I'm gonna need a poofy jacket. I was looking at those.
Yeah. Just let me know.
I will. So I want to talk about your career. I mean, because I don't know enough about your background too. So, were you a hunter? Did you grow up around guns? And how the heck did you end up where you're at now?
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story. I didn't actually. So both of my parents are from Southern California. I grew up skating and snowboarding and doing that kind of stuff. And I don't think I actually shot a gun until I was about 22 years old, honestly.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then I moved up to the Portland area, Portland, Oregon, for a job after I graduated college. It was just kind of a sales job for a grocery distribution company, and I didn't like it. I would blow off work and go snowboard instead and do stuff like that. So, but my roommate at the time, he had gotten a job here at Leupold, and he was like, there's this company, I work there, it's pretty cool, it's just entry level. He's like, they're looking for someone in the warranty product service department, and he's like, I can probably get you a job. I was like, cool, that's fine. So I got a job, and just entry level. So when someone would send in warranty products, I would get the product and I would input it into the system, create a traveler or an account, right? Mm-hmm. But that was a cool way to learn about the product because I got to see everything, all the products come back, and I got to sit by the people who were repairing the product. So I would look around and see all the scopes torn apart, so you get to see all the internal workings and all that kind of stuff. So I gravitated towards that. I'm mechanical. I like working on stuff and tinkering with stuff. So that part appealed to me a lot. And I think it took, 2 to 3 years probably before I was like, I should probably buy a gun and get into this. So I bought a Ruger 1022, just completely stock, and then bought a whole bunch of quartz and parts and stuff like that to build it back up into like a custom gun. So kind of learned how that worked, and yeah, just kind of snowballed from there. So 16 years later, here I am. So I've done a number of different things within the company. Uh, the warranty department, like I talked about, I worked in the custom shop. Then I went to the sales department, worked on the sales side. Then I went back and ran the custom shop for a handful of years, and now on the marketing side, like you said.
Wow, that's awesome. So,
Yeah.
did you ever finish college or go to college? I mean, you just kind of.
Yeah. So I went to U of O. I got a business management degree because I didn't know what I want to be when I grow up. I still don't quite
Still
know
don't?
what I want to be. And somehow I ended up in marketing, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know how that quite happened either, but it's just funny how things work out. So
I've
uh,
known nobody, though, it probably says bad things about our industry in a little way, but I've known nobody that's been in the same place the whole time. Like, I know a lot of people do move jobs within the industry or just have had different lives or different careers. I've never met anyone that's been in the same place. That's pretty cool.
yeah, I see that a lot too. There's people bouncing around, and I'll see someone at Shot Show. I'll be like, "Oh, how's it going over there?" And they're like, "Oh, I haven't. I'm at this other place now." People get recycled in the industry a lot. So being somewhere for 16 years is quite, yeah. I don't know. They treat us so well here. It's still a family-owned company, fifth generation, and honestly, it's kind of ruined me because I don't think I could go work for another optics company, knowing what I know now and how well we do everything here. And it's cool to work for a company that you really believe in the product as well. So, passion-driven industry, which this is, because you could go your whole life without buying a scope or a pair of binos or something like that, right? Tons of millions of people do. But the people who do purchase the product are super passionate about it. It's their hobby. They're really into it. And it's a fun thing to be part of that. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love that. Now, I know you shoot a little bit of PRS, right?
Yeah, I shoot 6 to 7 matches a year. So quite a bit of long range stuff. I started getting into that a handful of years ago, probably 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay. Have you shot other sports too, or just PRS right now?
So I've shot some defense pistol competitions and stuff like that. I actually started out shooting mostly pistol and carbine, going to a lot of like tactical training classes and doing that kind of stuff. And then I wanted to learn more about our long range products, so I started getting more into that. And I just went to some competitions just to check it out. Then I started entering the competitions. I started figuring out, oh, this is way harder than I assumed that this would be. Right?
Yep.
Everyone goes, oh, I can shoot long range because they go to a
Nope.
range and they shoot on their belly and real slow and methodical. And that's not what this is, right? I remember the first match I went to. It was I started in a dumb way. I went to it's called, we have them up here. They're called RTC matches, Rifleman Team Challenge.
Okay.
So you team up with someone, and it was kind of the predecessor to NRL Hunter matches. So you have to find the targets, range the targets, figure out your dope, and engage the targets in the right order. I did that for my first match, and I was like, it was so overwhelming. I think we probably hit like 10 targets the whole weekend. It was rather disappointing.
And
But
you came back.
I came back. I'm a glutton for punishment. I don't know when to quit, I suppose. So, I kept on it and I kept going. I like learning new stuff. I actually like looking stupid and learning new stuff and being humbled by that. So, and it was overtly humbling, absolutely. But little by little, I've gotten better and better, and now I'm still not great. Like I'm a top mid-pack shooter, I would say, but that's fine. Honestly, I'm just out there not to embarrass the company half the time. So, you wouldn't want the scope guy coming and showing up last. So that would be a bad look. Yeah.
Yep. I think I'm forever in that same mid-pack-ish range for sure, which, hey, not last.
But not last, right? The great thing about it is you're just, I'm just competing with myself. I just want to get better. I am a very competitive person. Played tons of sports growing up. So, but as long as I'm getting better and being competitive with myself, that's fine. So I have no illusions of grandeur, winning trophies or anything like that. So
I think a lot of people that are missing the boat are the ones that come in, they're like, I'm the best of the best of the best, whether it's their job or it's just like that's what they grew up with. So then they enter a competition and they get humbled very quickly, and then they don't come back.
right, yeah, they don't come back. Yeah,
They don't come back. But I do like the people that they get out there and they compete and they get discouraged, and it's like, hey, we all started somewhere where we weren't the best when we got started, and we're still learning too. So, like you said, I think it's really important for shooters to remember to compare themselves to where they were maybe even a month ago versus where they started, and not worry about other people. I mean, that's the hardest part, is if you just see a little bit of exponential growth. I mean, over time, it's huge.
yeah, it's huge. And I will say the really cool thing that I've noticed about the specifically like long range shooting community, be it PRS, NRL Hunter, any of those types of competitions, is the community of people. They're very supportive, and like if you show up to a PRS match and you don't have the right gear, people will be handing you bags,
Throw it at you.
bipods, and try this, try this. Oh, have you thought about doing so? It's I think most of them understand fully that everyone started somewhere, and they're more than happy to help, and they're more than happy to get you involved in the sport. So if you're on the fence about it, don't be scared. It'll probably be a little painful your first couple matches, but it's addictive for sure.
It's very addictive. Yeah. I mean, that progression. I've never seen someone like leave a match being like, I don't have the gear. I've seen people throw ammo, guns, bags, belts, whatever it takes to finish a match. So that's an excuse that's like completely removed from any shooting sport.
Yeah, most match directors will have loaners of some type. Yeah, down in Texas earlier this year, the first PRS match of the season, I know we sponsor that range, and they have 5 or 6 loaner guns. So if something happens, people can just grab a gun and keep shooting, which is awesome.
It is, yeah. So for you, the long range stuff, did you take a class? Did you Google? Like, how did you actually start to get better? Because I know for me with entering long range in PRS, I'm being mentored versus I haven't sat and taken a class yet. Like, I want to do that, but I don't even know where to start with that,
Yeah, a little bit of everything, I think. So we had some internal employees here, excuse me, who shot longer range stuff, who maybe one who was a Marine Scout sniper, and so I would hang out with them and kind of just be a sponge of information. We have a range here in Oregon, in Central Oregon, so we go out to the range and mess around, and I get to practice and experience stuff out there. But I have been to maybe I've actually only been to one actual real class. One of our pro shooters, Tyler Hughes, he runs Max Ordnance Academy in California. I went to a couple of those classes. Great instructor, but I've been able to be around other instructors too, and again, be a sponge. And also, going to matches, a lot of it is watching what other people do, right? Like watching what the top shooters are doing, how they approach a stage, and I would go to a lot of matches and take just photographs. So one of my unofficial jobs here is photography. So I would take photos, which is a great opportunity to really check out what people are doing, how they run stages, and just practicing little by little, practicing in the garage, dry fire practice. Like I said, I'm competitive, and I don't mind looking stupid when I'm learning something, but I also like to get better at what I'm working on as well. So, it's a lot of hard work. It's not easy, and which is frustrating because the top shooters make it look incredibly easy.
They do. I think about like John Wydell from the AMU, and I'm just like, dude, how? He's half of our times. Like some of the best shooters I know shoot 60% of him, and I'm like, are you human?
Yeah, absolutely. And the funny thing is, like, they're moving fast, but they almost don't look like they're moving fast because it's so smooth.
Yep.
And just like, how do I get there? Well, one day maybe.
One day. Yeah. So what's your absolutely favorite gun, cartridge, to shoot in PRS, and then what glass do you personally run?
Cartridge. So I'm not a reloader. I don't reload.
That's just for looks. No.
Yeah, right. That's good. That's a good setup stage back there. Yeah. I don't reload. So I just shoot Hornady ELDM, 6 Creedmoor, so the 108 grain ELDMs, and they shoot fine. And I'm, if it's anything that's happening, it's usually me. It's not the ammo for sure. It can outshoot me. Yeah, a lot of people get, I think a lot of people love reloading just for the therapeutic part of it, right? And that's you really get to tune your ammo to your gun, and I understand that. I just don't have the time and or desire. So let's see, what am I running right now? I got a couple different guns. I'll just pick the last one that I ran in the competition. So I'm shooting a Foundation stock. That's Foundation's out of Oklahoma. John Kyle Truitt owns it. It's a interesting stock because it looks a little more like your traditional maybe stock, but it's machined out of micarta, which micarta is a material you see it a lot on knife handles. It's kind of like a fiberglass-esque type material, but he's the only one who does stocks out of it, and it's incredibly interesting to shoot. Yeah, it's like it deadens the recoil so much through the stock, so that's pretty cool. And I shoot an Impact Action, another Oklahoma guys. Shout out to Tate Streeter, big supporter of PRS in the long range community. So Impact Action, and then I just have a research pre-fit barrel on there. So it's funny. I want to do a video about it, honestly, like how easy it is these days to build a precision gun.
Yeah.
People think that it's hard, and it's actually easier than an AR. Like if you can build up an AR, if you get an Action with a pre-fit barrel and a stock,
done dropping.
Yeah, you probably put it together in 5 minutes, honestly. So yeah. So yeah, I run a Trigger Tech Diamond. I run Trigger Techs in all my guns, and then for the glass up top, I run the Mark 5 HD 5-25 with the PR2 reticle. Or I have some 7-35s too. It's the same body scope. So, but yeah, that's kind of my setup.
Awesome.
Oh, sorry, KGM can too. So I run a KGM R6 suppressor up front. I've started running more suppressors a couple of years ago. I did just put a brake on another rifle. We'll see about going back to shooting brakes after shooting cans for a long time, but we'll see. I like shooting suppressed a lot. Yeah.
Yep. So let's see, 4 or 5 months ago, I had 0, and I now have 7 in jail. So we have gone full blown addiction. I got one for the PRS rifle, and it's in jail. Hopefully, it'll be out sooner than later. But oh my god, yeah, I went full. It's just a totally different experience. The recoil is nice. No ear protection or light ear protection. Not having to worry about it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I didn't even do it originally for the hearing protection part, which is awesome, but I just like how it smooths out the recoil of the gun. So it's like a push in kind of like instead of like a real abrupt like whack. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see going. I did get just one of those TMB. It's a brake and a tuner combination. Cool. So the tuners are kind of cool, being that, like I said, I don't reload. I use factory ammo. So you can use a tuner to tune your barrel to the ammo instead of tuning the ammo to the barrel. So kind of messing around with those tuners and checking that out.
It's been fun playing with. I'm a big muzzle brake for sure person and trigger person, but like just playing with different bleed off systems and adjustable everything like gas blocks, but like just all that's fun. I don't know why.
Yeah, it is fun. Well, it just makes the gun. It can make the gun feel completely different depending on what muzzle device you put on it. So yeah.
So I love the journey. Okay, so for everything you do for work, and I know you started in warranty, but like for the shooting sports side of stuff, did you help like assemble the team that you have now that shoot, and then like you sponsor matches and events? Like what all do you do in a day?
Yeah, what all I do in a day? No 2 days. No 2 days are the same. That is for sure. So yeah, when I took over, we had a little bit of a shooting team and some partners, but I have grown it quite a bit over the couple of years that I've been in charge of it. So yeah, that's one of my main things is managing the team, pro shooting team. I think on the long range side now we have maybe 30 people, 30 shooters, and then adding more international people this year. So that's been really fun. Cool. So Norway, Sweden, Italy, Australia, some South Africa. So because the international scene is growing a lot, so that's been fun. One of the other things that I do, I manage our shooting partners. So that'd be more like your influencers and people like that, your Coleon Noirs and stuff. So I manage them from the shooting side. I have a counterpart, Kaylee, who works on the hunting side. So she does kind of what I do on the hunting side. I take the shooting side of the marketing side, role. What else do I do? Yeah, sponsor matches, go to matches, be the, kind of the face of the brand at events and stuff like that. Like last week, I was in Texas at FTW, which is a ranch down there. It's actually not a big, maybe not well known in the tactical or shooting world, but it's a hunting school basically. They teach precision long range hunting, which was really cool to see. So it was fun to go down there and kind of share some of my PRS knowledge with the long range hunting stuff. That was a writers event, so sometimes I'll go to events. They bring writers in from, you're kind of in
I've
that
been there.
industry
Yeah.
too. You've been there, right? Yeah. Oh, have you been to FTW actually?
I haven't been to that one yet. No, I've been to
Okay.
several writing events. She
Yeah.
got invited to another one, which I didn't even know were a thing, but they're so cool because you really get that intimacy
Mhm.
to share knowledge, and I think you can't beat those events.
100%. So it's like 4 days, and they can ask us anything they ever want to know about optics, right? We do
Yeah.
a little seminar and stuff like that. So yeah, it's awesome. And then I work a lot with our product line managers. So I take a lot of the feedback I get from our pro team, influencers, just consumers in general, and feed that back to the product team so that we're building the stuff that people want, features, all that kind of stuff. And then I help with the content creation as well, making sure that we are creating content that's genuine. And especially on the shooting side, man, if you post a video or a picture of someone and it doesn't look quite right, or they're not holding the gun just right, like,
Oh, yeah.
people are going to be like, oh, that's stupid, like
Oh,
he doesn't know what he's doing. So I guess I'll be the SME, the subject matter expert, on the marketing side for the shooting stuff as well. So I do the tours at work. I did a tour this morning. Let's
That's
see what else.
amazing.
It was the joke, is you don't shed jobs, you just gain jobs. So
Gain.
from being here 16 years, it's just you just keep collecting them. So
I think that's fun though. That makes work so not boring. Like when you get to just be creative too and come up with ideas and then roll with them.
Oh, it's not boring whatsoever, and I'm very blessed. I'm very lucky, like what I get to do. So it is work sometimes, and it does suck, and you got to look at spreadsheets and budgets and numbers and all that stuff. But I get to have a lot of fun as well too. So
And then you get to look at a lot of planes, a lot of suitcases, a lot. Like, do you have a family outside of this that you try to spend time with? Like,
I do have two kids. So Kale and Emma are 11 and 13.
oh,
So luckily now they're a little bit older and a little bit more self-sufficient. So I don't have to be babies as much. But yeah, I get to see them quite a bit. I definitely have to maximize my time when I'm here at home. So, but that's just part of the gig, is being on the road. So
that's awesome.
yeah. Yep.
You get to see a lot of different places. I think the international stuff is going to be intriguing because truly, when you think about competition in the optics space, I think you guys are light years beyond so many brands where you understand the influencers that have voices if they're in politics or if they're shooters in different sports. The hunting side is a totally different group of people than competitive side. And brands that don't get ahead of that and partner with content creators or people that have a voice, I think are not going to die, but I mean, like, that's the way of the future right now, especially when we can't pay to put our ads in front of anything, anywhere. You're
Right.
going to have to lean on these people that can share word of mouth or that are out there with your products using them.
100%, 100%. And that's part of that, having the shooting team. Like, it's not just about them being good shooters, it's about them being brand ambassadors, right? Going to a match and talking to someone, and then the person's like, oh, I've been thinking about that skill. Be like, hey, lay down behind my rifle and check it out, stuff like that. So, we in the marketing world, you talk about impressions a lot, and obviously like a print ad or a digital ad can get a lot of impressions, but that physical face-to-face impression, it's a lower number, but they are more valuable in my opinion, and they're more they carry more weight. So, and my way I've done it over the years is, yes, you go to these matches and maybe it's 200, 250 people. 400 is a huge match. That's the gap grind, which you're going to shoot later this year, right? But you're influencing and talking to those people, but they are also they're influencers in their sphere of people and influence. So, be it, hey, maybe he's a lineman, right? And he has coworkers who want to build a rifle. They're never going to shoot PRS, but they want to build like a long range rifle or a hunting rifle. Well, they're going to talk to this guy because they know that he goes and shoots competitions and he's super into it. So it's influencing the influencers and trickling down. We've seen that work really, really well. Interesting that you mentioned it on the international side, because that's something we've been up against throughout our so in the U.S., we are a heritage legacy brand, right? Everyone knows Leupold. We've been around forever, since 1907, actually. But on the international side, you have these other brands who are heritage brands. You have the Swaros and Zeisses and people like that. And it's been harder for us to break into that hunting heritage side of things. But the shooting side is different. There's no heritage and there's no legacy stuff there. It's all kind of new. So we've been really hitting that hard as an avenue to get into those different demographics, those different regions. Yeah. And it's been successful so far. I'm excited. I get to later this year, I'll be going to South Africa and then Norway for some stuff. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Do you can actually incorporate a little bit of like travel-esque tourism days with that?
Oh yeah, for sure. So that's one of my things that I do, even domestically here. So like, let's take an average trip. I'll take one from last year. I think, where did I go? I went to Pennsylvania for a match. So flying in on a Thursday, 0 days Friday, match is Saturday, Sunday. I would not schedule my flight out till late on Monday. So I would have that day. I'd never been to Philadelphia, so I just went and walked around Philadelphia, saw all the cool old stuff. I grew up on the West Coast, so old to me is like 100 years old. So that's cool to walk around, and see the cobblestone streets and the Liberty Bell and all that kind of stuff.
Bell was cool. I've done that one time, and yep, I made a trip out of it, and it was so neat. Philly had cool vibes, the art, the music, the food, and I do a similar perk thing where it's like I'm going to pick a day ahead or after, and for a writer's event, it was in Idaho. That one I did longer. I did a week in Yellowstone and the Tetons, but I was able to make an opportunity out of getting to do what I do and work really hard because it is still work. But it's like, if I'm already going to go, I'm going to do it and go see something,
Yeah, 100%. I love the travel. I love to see stuff. So I'm a big proponent of that. And it helps keep you sane a little bit, right? So it's not just work all the time. You get to have some fun. So
I saw so many animals that should have died. I'm like, I was at the Continental Divide Trail and I walked around this corner and it scared me. I was literally 2 feet away from a doe and she just kind of sat there, like looked at me, and she was a big one too. And I was like, if you were anywhere else in the world right now, you would not be alive.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. One match, I forget what you're making me remember. I drove back over the Continental Divide because I'd never driven over there. And I stopped at the top and, seeing all the sign and the touristy stuff. And a fox came right up to me, like literally like 5 feet away from this fox. And like, I was trying to like pet it and it didn't want to be pet, but yeah.
You know how aggressive foxes are, and you thought, I'm going to pet this thing. One walked out in the parking lot and I was like the only one around. This was during the off season in October. And I couldn't find my keys in my hiking pack fast enough. I was afraid of the fox. So I was circling around the car trying to get the keys out to not get murdered by a fox.
I don't know. I haven't heard of many people getting murdered by a fox. I think you were probably safe.
It would happen to me. It would be me, and it would be front news, and it would be like...
Yeah, that'd make a good tombstone. Yeah, murdered by a fox.
Pet it?
Yeah, I just wanted to pet it. Look soft and fluffy.
Oh, I love this grown human. I want to pet a fox. Okay. So I want to go back to all of the shooters and the people that you work with. A lot of people ask me, how do I get sponsored? How do I get contracts? How do I get whatever, right? And how are they adding value? And I ask them that seriously. How do you think that you add value, or how do you represent brands that you already represent, or what are you doing for them? So how do you, I guess twofold is, what do you look for, and then what do you do when someone like seeks you out, and then how do you like kind of vet them for that process?
That's a good question, and I wish I had a clearer answer on like, this is what you do, like but honestly, like a lot of it for me is gut, and like I feel like I'm a pretty good judge of character. So I kind of honestly, they say don't mix, friendship and business, but honestly, I got to be able to be friends with you if you're going to be on the team. I got to be able to hang out with you. I got to stand you. You got to be a good person. Like, so the character part is for me the most important. Like, it's cool someone's winning a bunch of trophies all the time, but if they're not a don't have high character,
Yeah.
it's not going to work. And I don't need liabilities on the team, people that I got to worry about. And I rather have that mid-pack shooter who has that high character, is going to represent the brand well, is going to reach out to new shooters, create content, that kind of stuff, rather than the high performers. Now, to have both, that's really what I strive for, right? Yeah, I do. We are the most winning precision rifle team in the world. We perform really well, but that character part is really, really important to me, especially as a steward of the brand. I take that really seriously, and you can have someone who represents the brand say something stupid or do something stupid, and now oh, that caught on video, and now it goes viral, and everyone then it people have a bad view of the brand after that. So it's yeah, you gotta be careful about it. So most of the time I have to meet you in person, hang out with you a little bit, see what you're about. I'll ask other people that I know, about this person. So
it's small industry too, there to be able to like have people vouch or yeah,
it is small for sure. Everyone knows everyone. So and yeah, so that's kind of how it goes. That's kind of how we add people in. I don't have like a set like you got to do this. Now I have been strategic, I suppose, about geographically where people are going to be. So, when I first took over the team, we were really West Coast heavy because we are on the West Coast.
There, yeah.
We didn't have any representation on the East Coast, so added a handful of people on the East Coast now. We also didn't have really any females on the team, so I think I have 3 female shooters now who shoot long range stuff. And yeah, so just trying to vary it up a little bit too as well.
Yeah,
hit all those demographics. Yeah, check the boxes sometimes. So
it's interesting. Like, I mean, when I explain that to brands too, it's like, what if you want to track that? You've got to have it in your content or in your marketing or in photos or videos. Just because if I'm a female and I'm looking at this content, it's just maybe just say, oh, like tactical dudes. It's like, I can't relate to that because I don't even see myself in that marketing. And it sounds silly, but even a picture of a female will help me be like more comfortable or more relatable to that brand just over that. It's how it is.
100%. Yeah, no, it's you connect with stuff that is really relatable to you. Yep. And then like on the instructor side, I guess I didn't mention that. So I sponsor a number of instructors, shooting instructors too, because I feel like that's a great avenue to display a product and show it off. But I have a couple female instructors too run our stuff because I feel like females are going to be more comfortable if they go to a female instructor, especially when they first start learning about firearms. Maybe they've never shot before. It can be super intimidating. I know. I was intimidated the first time I went to classes and shot. Right. So
who can admit that? You're the first guy to ever admit that right there. So you're intimidated.
Oh, it's super intimidating. Like especially when you're new and like you go to a class and it's like the first morning and everyone pulls up their cars and trucks and everyone's just staying there like not talking to anyone, and you're just like, oh, what is going on? Like everyone's sizing up everyone, and it's now I make it a point, like I just like go to break the ice and talk to everyone and like just have a chill time. We're not here it's not a competition when you're in a class like that. So, but it can get real. Yeah, it can be a awkward environment for sure. So, yeah.
So, okay, you guys introduced, I know switching gears, y'all introduced new stuff at SHOT Show, and I don't know if you want to take a minute to talk about what those were.
Yeah, we had just a couple new things this year. We had our BX4 range, which is a new range-finding binocular for us. The really cool thing about the BX4 range is it's hard to, you see a lot of range-finding binoculars out there that have really good laser systems, but the optics aren't really good. So what we do optical prescriptions really, really well. That's kind of what we hang our hat on. So optically, that binocular performs super well as having a really strong laser system in it. So I'm excited for that. And then we have our continuation of the Mark V HD line. So the 2 to 10 by 30 is the new magnification that we came out with, which is kind of a perfect magnification for recce rifles have been really, really popular. But a DMR style rifle a 14.5 to 16 to an 18-inch AR or something like that, where you can get a little more distance out of it. There's a lot of applications for that. And, people ask us like, oh, why didn't you do like a 1 to 8 or a 1 to 10 or something like that? By going to a 2 to 10, we didn't have to make the optical system work as hard, and you actually get way better performance.
Yeah.
The two power is super flat, 10 power is super clear, edge to edge, and everything in between. And honestly, like when I run a setup like that, I usually have a red dot up top.
Yep.
So I run a DP Pro up on the ring top, and I use that for close-up stuff, and then I drop down to the scope for longer range stuff. So it's a phenomenal setup. A lot of people have been asking us for 2 to 10, and I don't think we're going to be able to make enough of those, honestly. So, yeah.
Heard it here first. No, that's good.
Yeah, exactly.
The other stuff I've seen you guys, well, some people run them on like AK matches. They'll still run like a red dot offset, and then they'll still have like a scope, because sometimes they're shooting even like 7.62, but even out to like 300 yards, which it doesn't seem like a lot, but with that kind of steel cased ammo, sometimes it's not always the most accurate stuff.
Yeah, no, yeah, the offset red dot is really nice. For me, I have my full field of view, natural field of view, which is great if especially on the stage, if you're running and you have a lot of, IPSC cardboards that you're just trying to hit A zones on real fast. You don't want to really be in a scope. You just want a red dot, and then, or you can be like the super 3-gun guys who have the 2 red dots, like on each side,
I don't have them on each side, but I have a primary and an offset on all of my guns. But not only is one zeroed for further and then one's close up, but I've also had one fly off. So you know what? I have a backup.
Nice. Well, that's one of those things when you first see it, you're like, why do they do that? And then someone explained it to you. You're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Well, it's actually like on my long guns, on my PRS guns, I run a red dot up top. And people will see it and they're like, why do you do it? Like, are you clearing rooms with your 26-inch, 22-pound gun? I was like, no. It's for alignment. So when you're on a stage and you're looking, you're like, okay, the target, I can't really see the target, but I know it's by this rock. So when I get down on the gun, I can put that dot on the rock, and then I drop down to the scope and I'm in my field of view. So it's an alignment tool, because and you'll experience it once
so cool.
Yeah. So when new shooters start shooting, the biggest thing that I see them struggle with is finding targets.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Back east, it's not as hard. You're on a square range. It's usually easier to find targets. But out west, the field matches can be a nightmare, right? And you could be shooting one target here, and you have to go almost 180 degrees and transition to a target over here. And if you didn't landmark correctly and find, and the other thing, people are magnified too much. They're on 25 power, 30 power, and then your field of view is narrow. And then you're working the power selector back and forth, trying to find the target, freaking out, and you can't do it. So anyways, I shoot most of my matches on about 18 power, and I use that red dot. I just put the red dot, I find it, bump down, shoot, red dot, so.
Like, you don't understand, my whole life just changed just now, today, right now, whole life, because I am that shooter in even 3-gun, and this happened in November, is I was like in and out of magnification on a low power variable scope, but I was like, where are the targets? And then before I even was able to shoot the stage, I'm like, I'm gonna need somebody to point these out. There's no flags, there's no wind stuff, but they were out to like 500 yards. Again, not terrible, but with 2 to 3, anyways.
Absolutely.
Just like coming out of the scope, and then it's that whole dance that you just see this person's face move, and you're like, they can't find it.
Yeah, exactly. So I've seen it time and time again. So there's a little cheat code for you. So
jeez.
Yeah.
My mind is whole blown, and I have to rethink life. So then, for your mount, how do you mount it, on top of scope rings?
Yeah, so we actually make a ring top mount. When I ran the custom shop, one of the cool things we got to do is we kind of got to prototype stuff. So we have
make stuff for yourself. You mean?
Maybe. So one of the engineers over here had a ring top mount that he had on his desk for years, and he was like, "Well, production really doesn't want to make it." And I was like, "We'll make it in the custom shop." So we started making it. Now it's a production item, which is cool. It goes on our Mark IV rings or Mark IMS rings. It's just the top goes on there. You can mount the DP Pro at 12 o'clock or each 45-degree angle off to the side. It has fore and aft movement if you want it closer, further away. it's a really cool system. And like I said, yeah, for that long gun stuff, it's actually really advantageous. And your face, I've seen it before, because like guys will be like, shooters will be like, what is that? And I'll be like, hey, get down behind the rifle and like check it out. And they do it once, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, yeah. So
I'm like really excited right now, though. Like that, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll tell Ryan, your long range mentor, he failed you because he didn't mention that to you.
Failed.
Yeah, failed.
That was fun hanging out. I can't wait for this year. Holy crap.
Yeah.
And we're having crawfish at the first match that I'm at, and crawfish, like my family's from Louisiana, so I'm looking forward. The camaraderie for sure in this sport, and I've never met a lot. I know some PRS shooters, but it's a whole different community for me. So it means a whole new group of friends.
Oh yeah, no, the community's awesome. So, are you going to the Texas match? Is that your first match? So yeah, that's where they usually have the crawfish. So.
Yes.
And I'm from the West Coast, so I'm like, ugh, crawfish. No.
Mud bugs.
Yeah, mud bugs.
Corey Klamasevich and I shoot together a lot, so like with US and 3-gun, yeah. So he's like, we have 500 pounds. I was like, I'm eating 300 of them.
Oh, jeez.
Not really, but I'm so excited.
You can eat my share. I won't have any. I eat the potatoes and the sausage and the corn. That's it.
What? They're so good. So good. Okay, speaking of these other little things, then maybe you have some off your tip of your head. For people listening that want to get in PRS or they're starting, do you have any other like tips or any other things that you see initially that people really make mistakes on that they can think about now of how to not do that?
For sure. Trying to go too fast. I understand that, most stages are either a minute and a half or 2 minutes. And once that timer goes off, just like 3-gun or USPSA or something, your brain goes like, but just relax, breathe. You're not, if you went to your first match and you timed out every stage, that's totally fine, because you just want to go slow and get your hits. Bags are a huge thing. So support bags. I remember when I first started shooting, I had a full-size Armageddon gear game changer with the big beads in it. And the rifle would just not sit right. And my wobble zone was huge, and I was moving around. And then someone was like, "Hey, try this. It's a same bag, full size game changer or medium game changer, but with sand in it." And now the rifle just settles down, and like getting the right bag is super important. You'll be like, "Oh, okay, now I understand how people get so stable." So that's an inexpensive piece of gear that will really make a big difference going forward. You can get in a gear race. You can spend as much gear as you want, money on gear as you want. But the other thing is just practice. Practice getting into those positions. You don't even have to fire a shot. Just dry fire practice, or take a step stool in your garage and practice putting the bag down, getting the rifle down, and getting stable, and just back and forth in and out of that will make a huge difference. And just breathing too. Breathing is huge. You see, again, you get so worked up and you're on the clock and stage, and you see people just like not like taking a breath. So which sounds simple, but yeah, it is something you just gotta remember to do when you're shooting. So there's a couple ones that I see new shooters struggle with.
That's helpful.
And then just ask questions too. Everyone's there to help.
Yep.
Be like, hey, why, or how do you think I should do that, or why did someone do it that way? Don't be scared to ask questions. So, I will say for new shooters that the NRL Hunter matches, if you ever do one of those are kind of fun because they're blind stages, so no one's watching you. It's only the RO. So if you screw up, it's not a whole group of people behind you watching you screw up. So it's slightly less pressure.
So it's because it's blind because every other shooter has to do the exact same thing, so you can't know where things are at, so you truly have no audience.
Correct. Yeah, you don't know what the stage looks like before you are on clock and run up there and have to start doing it. So yeah. Okay.
So I built an NRL 22 rifle, and I shot a local, and I was playing with that. So I have that like as a trainer rifle, which has been really fun actually, because it's just as heavy as, well, not as heavy, but close to heavy. The bags that you said, I've been learning size of bag, front bag, rear bag. Oh my God. It's almost too many bags and too many options is the problem.
And I would say some people will have like 4 or 5 bags clipped to their backpack, and I'm like, no, you just need one bag. Yep. one bag will do it. it used to be. It's funny, you see the trends happen in shooting, and these dudes used to have these big, like we call pump pillows, right? This big, like freaking bean bag, a chair of a bag, and you don't luckily see that too much anymore. Honestly, you can accomplish 99% of things with one good bag. So
yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I was learning about like the sticky adapters, and I have like the little fortune cookie looking thing. It works. That's my one bag that I really, really enjoy.
Oh yeah, the wee bad fortune cookie with the sticky stuff, that works great.
Yep.
I will say, yeah, the other bag that I do utilize, I lied. I use two bags. So, so I use a Armageddon Gear Schmedium Game Changer with sand, but then I have a Arca bag, so it clamps on to the Arca plate on the front, and it's sand. So if you're running a tripod rear support stage or something like that, that's how you do that efficiently. So
I just got that from Coltac. They're
the
backbone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm learning. I've been playing with toys and trying to practice, and that was
well, coming from 3-gun, you're not shy about gear, so I'm sure. So yeah.
I haven't opened in gear yet, or open division in 3-gun, which is a gear race, and that's where I'm not playing with yet.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Coming.
Yeah. So some of the right gear does make a difference. You can get too wrapped up in gear, but some of the, their gear to a certain point does make a difference for sure.
Yeah.
And you'll find out the small detail things make a big difference too. Like where do you keep dope at? Do you run an arm board? Do you have a card? Is the card attached to the rifle? Stuff like that. So
left side, right side, keeping your head in the scope. Yeah, there's a lot of little lessons that I am definitely learning, which is good. It's good, but it is like drinking from a fire hose when you change sports.
Yeah, and you'll go shoot a match, and you'll go shoot the one in Texas, and you'll be like, oh, I need to change
everything I just did. Yeah,
maybe not maybe half of it. Yeah, you're like, that did, and that's the thing. Like, you got to find out what works for you, not what what works for you may not work for another person.
Yep.
Especially, another thing for new shooters is like, we're not all built the same. So how one person shot the stage, you may have to shoot it a different way, and that's totally fine.
Totally.
You may see someone kneeling, with one knee up or both knees on the ground. That doesn't mean that one's better than the other. It's just how your body works, and I'm pretty broken, and it's hard for me to kneel like one knee down. So yeah.
I wouldn't even say I'm broken. It's just that I get hurt a lot. So it's not the right way to do it, but I like to go where you have to go prone or you have to go on the ground at some point. That's last. It's not good, but it's like, that's last.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's fun. Well, the good thing is most PRS matches, there's actually not a lot of prone shooting. So yeah.
Yep. Let's see what else. I did want to talk a little bit about just like personal protection, like carry just mindset, especially when traveling. So that's the biggest thing that people ask me, and I'm sure because you travel everywhere as well, how important is that when you're in new environments and new places that you're still assessing your surroundings, you're still kind of in that mentality that you got to protect yourself.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, for sure. I'm a proponent of if you're going to fly with a long gun, might as well fly with a pistol.
With a handgun,
right? So if you're checking one gun, might as well check two guns. So I do that all the time. But situational awareness is huge. I'm a big proponent of that, just scanning your environment. So many people are sucked into their phones these days and don't actually scan anywhere. All right. It doesn't have to be, you don't need to search and assess or any crazy thing like that, but just be cognizant of what's going on. The other thing that I carry with me everywhere too is my mod light flashlight, because certain places you can't carry a firearm or something. Man, this thing is so bright. If you pop that in someone's eye, you're going to disable them. So, and it comes with a cool little clip thing that you can use as a pressure point. So,
that is.
So I take that everywhere. So that personal protection stuff is important. I will say I screwed up last trip as just a cautionary tale to your listeners. I had my pistol. I usually I have the cardboard box for the ammo, but you can keep the ammo in the magazine as long as the magazine is separate from the gun in the case. which I did, but then I forgot and I stuck the magazine in the pistol. Now it wasn't racked and there wasn't one in the chamber, but technically by TSA standards, that is a loaded pistol. So I got detained for that, and my pre-check is gone for a year. So
Are you serious?
so I got slapped on the wrist for that. So just make sure you check your stuff before you get to the airport.
This was like a week ago?
Yeah, when I came back from Texas from the PRS match. So yeah.
Oh, I would cry to lose my TSA pre-check.
Yeah, I flew since then because I flew back to Texas and I was standing in the line. I was looking at the pre-check line and I was like, gosh, dang it! Like, I was like, I gotta take my shoes off. This is bull. So yeah.
A year. I mean, it makes sense, but also like that's so painful.
That's the thing. Like, my friends were like, "Are you going to appeal it?" I'm like, "I'm not going to appeal it. I broke the rules. That's what I get for breaking the rules." So. So lesson learned.
Yeah.
But I will say the cops were super cool about it. I got an Austin Police Department patch, and we were talking about optics and what he was running a red dot on his pistol. I was asking him how he likes it. So they were awesome about it. So
that's good news, at least friendly.
We made friends. Yeah. Hey, it was in a lock case. It's not like I went to the airport with like Yosemite Sam. So
yeah. Oh, that's tough learning though. I did have one person that like checked or put ammo in their. It's always a story. Is the ammo through the TSA scanning because it's a loose round in a backpack? It's like if you take your range backpack as your carry-on, bro, you better dump that sucker and put a metal detector over it.
Yeah, I did have that happen once. I was in Vegas. I think I was coming back from SHOT Show, so that makes sense. And sometimes you can't carry two backpacks, so that bag did become my range bag. And the round had got lodged up like behind like the laptop like sleeve and stuff. And there was 3 agents in there. They're like, we can see it on the scanner, but they couldn't find it like in the backpack. So leave yourself plenty of time at the airport. So,
you made it a treasure hunt for them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh man, but yeah, that's that is rough. I do miss my pre-check, but you fly long enough with guns, it probably is going to happen.
It's going to happen. So, it's kind of like the DQ or the AD, not if, but when.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I know we talked about a lot here. Is there anything that final nuggets that you want to leave people with, or anything that we didn't talk about that you want to talk about?
No, just maybe take someone shooting, right? Take a new person shooting. I love taking new people out and showing them guns aren't scary and that it's fun and that especially with everything going on in the world these days, it gets more and more vilified. But man, I challenge you to take someone out and not see a smile on their face, right, when they start shooting. So especially the shooting sports, and that's what I would say.
That's great advice. I keep telling if everyone on the street brought one new person, just one, the growth would change the world, I think.
100%. Yep, 100%. Yeah.
Well, Nick, how do people, I say follow you, how do people follow Leupold online? And then if they want to reach out, do you want to leave any contact info?
Instagram is probably the best way to follow me and contact me. I don't hide on there. It says exactly who I am and what I do. So it's my name, nic.kytlica at that's my handle on Instagram. So again, I don't hide. It's my name. And then Leupold.com for all the product information, everything on there. Sign up for our Core Insider newsletter. There's a lot of cool information that gets sent out that way. And we do sell on our website now certain accessories and the eyewear and stuff like that. So go on there and check it out. And that's and like I said, the Instagram is probably the best way. If it's a business thing, I usually then will direct you towards my email. So,
email.
Yeah. I try to segregate those things a little bit. So yeah.
Same. Customer service. I want to get offline of social media so badly.
Yeah. Well, it's social media. It's what you make of it, though. So I've met a lot of cool people via social. So
true.
So it's what you make of it.
Love it. Nick, thank you for everything. I cannot wait for this year. Thank you for sending me gear to help with my PRS journey and competing as an amateur, wish me luck here because it'll be a ride.
Oh, you're going to have fun regardless. Every round will be an impact. May not be on target, but it'll be an impact somewhere. So
Into the dirt.
into the dirt. Yeah.
All right, listeners, stay tuned for next week's all-new episode of the Reticle Up Podcast, and be sure to subscribe and like the channel. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to the Reticle Up Podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Follow along on social media at Reticle Up or 3 Gun Kenzie.